Thank you, Kostas. A warm thank to the Hellenic American Chamber of Commerce, the Hellenic Association of Energy Economics. A warm welcome to all of you. See if I can move these. Yeah. Now, this is about natural gas infrastructure, and we have an objective to reach a decarbonized energy system by 2050. So why are we talking about natural gas? I think we understand that to move to a decarbonized energy system, you have to move from where you are now to an objective in 30 years' time, which could be delayed, maybe 40 years' time, maybe 50 years' time. So what do you do between now and then? And as we know, in particular, when we look at this part of the world, the way to move in this direction is through natural gas. So unless you actually support this industry, you will find probably yourself without infrastructure to support this transition and to support the growth in between. Now, natural gas worldwide in 2018 reached almost 4 BCM. Sorry, this is not the wrong one. And 2018 was a year of robust growth. So if we average the projections of the International Energy Association, the sustainable growth one and the new policy scenarios, the forecast shows a growth of almost 1 BCM by 2040. So we will probably reach 4.8 BCM. So growth is set to continue. Now, more importantly, the role of LNG becomes bigger and bigger, is more and more a global commodity rather than just a regional one, and implies that half of this growth on natural gas will come from LNG. In fact, we expect LNG to grow from 450 BCM today to approximately 900 BCM by the horizon of 2040. That means that the penetration of LNG into the energy mix, of the natural gas mix, from 11%, which is today, will reach around 20%, 19% in fact, in 2020. Out of this 450 anticipated BCMs of growth in LNG, 140 new projects, 140 BCMs that will come from new projects are already either in constructions or FID and are supposed to come on stream by 2023. So, but there's still a lot to go. And I do not share the view of some analysts which say that the post-2023, post-2025, the market will be balanced because there's not going to be any new production of LNG. In fact, if you read today's newspaper, just Novatek announced mega plans of 21 billion of new LNG production in Russia to support the Chinese markets. So we will see a lot more coming down the road and in the second half of 2025. And LNG will remain a key component of the natural gas mix. And in that respect, if we actually want to talk about diversification, if we want to talk about multiple supply sources, every country, every market, every gas trader needs to have LNG in its portfolio, and that's, I think, it's very well understood by now. So concluding, in our view, LNG and natural gas will continue to play a leading role in the energy mix, and LNG will increase materially its strategic and commercial significance. Now, if we move closer to where we are in our neighborhood, now we have a long way to go to get to a fully decarbonized. We are shifting from coal, and as Deputy Minister Thomas said, we will accelerate this shifting from coal to gas. And in that respect, we anticipate significant growth of natural gas in Greece. What we see here is really domestic production, our projection about domestic production, which comes from shift of electricity generation from new sectors, like Nicola discussed, bunkering, mobility, and more penetration in areas where we do not have gas today. So all of that will lead to a growth of the rapid growth of the market to approximately 7 BCM by 2030. We can see also a similar trend in the region, in particular in Bulgaria, where there is significant growth anticipated also in the natural gas market. There will be, of course, a lot of transit of gas as well from Greece, because Greece has the advantage of being the only country, at least for now, in the Southeast European region which has access to LNG. So we will see a lot of transit of LNG. We're already seeing that from Greece to the north, to North Macedonia, to Bulgaria, and onward to the north. Now, I think this is my key message for today. It's about complementarity, and the complementarity is key to the success of the development of the regional gas markets in southeastern Europe. New infrastructure needs to be in a complementary framework. That is key. What does complementarity achieve? Smoother integration of the markets. Is really, you can take advantage of the new sources and the new supplies, which means more liquidity, which eventually means better trading opportunities, sustainable competition, fewer barriers to entry, increased penetration, and eventually lower cost to the end consumer. So in this map, you see some of the PCI projects of the region. And if you actually look at them, they do work complementary to each other. One can support the other. And if they actually all realize, that would really drive the region to a integrated market and will support the development of a real natural gas hub in the region. But not only we need to see the complementarity between amongst the new infrastructure. We should also understand that new infrastructure should work in harmony with existing infrastructure as well. So, for example, we will give an example afterwards, a specific example on how some of this new infrastructure can work in harmony with existing ones. But, for example, you have integration and access to new supply. That can be done through interconnectors, can be done through trunk pipelines such as TAP, can be done through new LNG infrastructure. But you can also capture opportunities, seasonal, geographic opportunities, by developing new underground storages. So if all of this happens, then you basically move towards an integrated market, you create a liquid market like the ones we have in Northwestern Europe. And that should be the aim for this region. Now, looking to our project, which is the Alexandroupolis FSRU. The Alexandroupolis FSRU, it works in that framework, supports the regional market development. It fulfills all the strategic and commercial criteria, and I'll go one by one. It is strategically located at the crossroads of the southern and vertical gas corridors. It sets Greece as the key link in the vertical corridor. It's the entry to the corridor. It strategically defined Greece as an energy gateway to southeastern Europe rather than just a transit territory. Great to be a transit country, but even better to have the molecules entering through your door. Regional project providing access to energy to all Southeast European markets, including Greece, of course, Bulgaria, Romania, North Macedonia, Serbia, and onwards all the way to the north. It can feed all the region and support a regional hub. It enhances the security of supply for the region. It provides diversification of sources and routes. Together with Ravithousa, it's the only natural gas infrastructure in the region which is independent from gas transit through Turkey. Think about from where any other new source of gas reaches our region. Every other new source transits through Turkey, be it Caspian, being Turkmeni gas in the future, being Iranian gas in the future. It will come through Turkey. So the only independent new infrastructures or existing infrastructures are the LNG terminals in Greece. It also provides an outlet for new findings in the Mediterranean, in particularly if some of this gas or a great part of this gas is liquefied. So whether it's in Egypt or whether there is a liquefaction terminal developed in Cyprus soil. It supports market integration. It provides liquidity, pricing flexibility, and enhances competition. It supports the local and the national economy. It will create a lot of employment opportunities directly or indirectly in the area of Alexandroupolis and around this area. It will also support the development of the port of the harbor of Alexandroupolis, which can play a critical role in the region, helping in bypassing some congestion moving towards the Black Sea countries. It works in harmony, as we said, with all the new infrastructure, such as IGB, critical connection between IGB and the project in Alexandroupolis. With TAP, it can be an alternative supply source to TAP. With Kavala underground storage, where you can actually store gas and then use it when it makes sense commercially or in terms of security of supply. It can similarly complement Ravithousa, in particular during period of high demand and low LNG prices, and I will give you an example. And it contributes in the reduction of costs in critical sectors such as power production, industry, and domestic use, supports the competitiveness of Greek industrial production, and enhances export potential. This is important for our economy. Exports generate direct income, and supporting competitiveness protects income. If we take, for example, a cement industry, they compete against international firms, sometimes established in places with very low labor costs. So the last thing you need is a high energy cost if you want to be competitive. So we'll come to this example I was talking about. And here you can see a chart with the situation in Ravithousa for the last 4 months of the years, according and in line with the planned cargoes. As Nicola said, this has been an excellent year for LNG altogether, an excellent year for Ravithousa. We've seen terminals reaching utilization rates of 70%, which is an unbelievable number. you can never get 100% of utilization, but 70% is amazing. Revithoussa, I think, has almost tripled its utilization since last year. And if my calculations are right, we would expect altogether these 50 cargoes that Nicola has talked about to translate in about 2.6 BCM increase. So we will see LNG probably taking about 60% of the Greek market, 50 to 60% of the Greek market this year. So what this graph shows you is, you know, it's actually the storage capacity in Revithoussa, the available, the blue. So when you see a sharp drop, that means a cargo comes in, so it takes over the available storage. So in that case, if you could actually have Alexandroupolis in place, then you could see more cargoes coming in, or you could actually see cargoes being shared between Revithoussa and Alexandroupolis. Right now, if according to the plan, if you want to bring a full cargo of 150,000 LNG cubic meters, there's no space. But you could possibly either, you know, have people who would be interested to bring new cargoes. They could potentially move them to Alexandroupolis, or they could share it and bring half of it in Revithoussa and half of that in Alexandroupolis. That would increase utilization of Revithoussa, and that would also support the users in basically enjoying the lower cost product, and not only that, but also achieving full cargoes, because particularly during peak periods, you can hardly find partial cargoes, and if you find partial cargoes, they're much more expensive. So this, I think, is a great example how projects can work in harmony, can complement each other. Finally, just a quick update on how the Alexandroupolis project is moving forward. I think we're steadily progressing. We anticipate to be able to take our final investment decision in the first half of next year. We should be launching the second phase of a market test soon, with an aim to be able to conclude that by the end of the year. And we plan to have commercial operation of the project in the first half of 2022. That is 2 years from our FID. Thank you.